The storm outside the naval base beat against the glass like distant artillery. Inside, under the pale buzz of fluorescent lights, a young woman sat cuffed to a steel chair, calm, silent, and soaked from the rain. Her uniform was torn, her hair matted with dust and salt. She looked like a wrecked survivor, not the kind of person who could have infiltrated a classified hangar without clearance. "Who are you?" barked Commander Hensley, slamming a file onto the table. His tone was half anger, half disbelief. "You were found inside a restricted zone. Unauthorized, unidentified, unaccounted for." The woman didn't answer. Her gaze stayed on the one-way mirror, calm, unreadable, like she was waiting for someone on the other side to make the next move. The young lieutenant standing by the door shifted nervously. "Sir, maybe she's..." "Quiet, Lieutenant," Hensley snapped. "I'll handle this." He turned back to her. "You broke into Hangar 7, the one with the new stealth prototype. You think that's some kind of joke?" Still nothing, just the faint hum of the air conditioning and the rhythmic tapping of rain. Then Hensley leaned closer. "You've got two options. You start talking, or you start explaining to the MPs how you got past biometric gates. Either way, someone's going to find out what game you're playing." The woman finally looked up, and in that moment, something shifted in the room. Her eyes were sharp, not scared. They carried a weight that didn't match her soaked clothes. She tilted her head slightly and said quietly, "You don't have clearance to ask me those questions, Commander." Hensley froze for a beat. The lieutenant blinked. "What did you say?" "You heard me," she said evenly. "You're out of your depth." Hensley scoffed. "You think you can throw rank around? You're not even in the system. No record, no assignment, no call sign." He reached forward and yanked the sleeve of her torn jacket, and that's when he saw it. On her forearm, just above the cuff line, was an ink-black tattoo. A trident intersecting a winged dagger, the insignia no one wore unless they'd earned it in blood. But there was something else too. Below the emblem was a small symbol, a red circle enclosing a silver 7-point star. The lieutenant stepped forward, eyes wide. "Sir, is that..." Hensley cut him off. "No, it can't be. That program was classified," the woman said quietly. "And terminated only on paper." The room went cold. Hensley straightened, suddenly aware that every word spoken in here was being recorded. He glanced at the mirror. "Get Admiral Wexler on the line," he ordered. The lieutenant rushed out. The woman sat still, dripping onto the concrete floor, as Hensley paced. "You're bluffing," he muttered. "That tattoo doesn't mean anything anymore." She met his stare with a faint smile. "Tell that to the ones who didn't come back." Minutes later, the door burst open. The lieutenant returned, followed by two senior officers, and behind them, in his dark overcoat, came Admiral Wexler himself. The air in the room shifted instantly. Everyone stood at attention. The Admiral's presence was heavy, his reputation legendary. He had the look of a man who'd seen too many secrets and lost sleep over most of them. He stepped closer to the table, his eyes fixed on the woman. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then he said, softly but firmly, "Remove the cuffs." "Sir." Hensley hesitated. "We can't confirm." "Do it," Wexler repeated. His voice carried the authority of oceans. The lieutenant rushed forward, fumbling with the key. The cuffs clicked open, and the woman rubbed her wrist slowly. The steel table reflected the Admiral's face and hers, two ghosts from the same hidden world. "Ma'am," the Admiral said finally, "we thought you were Kia. Operation Serpent was scrubbed 3 years ago." Her expression didn't change. "You were told it was scrubbed. Some of us stayed behind." The silence that followed was heavy. Hensley looked utterly lost. "Sir, with respect, who is she?" The Admiral exhaled. "Someone you don't interrogate. Someone whose missions never make it to your files." He turned back to her. "Where are the others?" "Gone," she said. "All except me. The program's assets were compromised. I came back for extraction, but your new security teams thought I was the threat." Wexler's eyes narrowed. "You were the extraction." She nodded once. "Yes, sir." He studied her, the mud on her boots, the faded patches, the scar on her temple. There was no doubt anymore. The tattoo wasn't for pretenders. It marked a warrior from the blackest depths of Special Operations, Phantom Division, the Ghost Unit even SEAL Team 6 whispered about. Wexler turned toward Hensley, his voice sharp as a blade. "Next time you see that emblem, Commander, you salute first and ask questions never." "Understood." "Yes, sir," Hensley said stiffly, shame creeping into his tone. The Admiral looked back at the woman. "You need medical or debrief?" I need a comms line to task node Bravo, she said. And a sealed room. The storm outside isn't half as dangerous as what's coming behind it. Wexler nodded slowly. You'll have both. Welcome home, Agent Vega. She gave a ghost of a smile. Home's a strange word, Admiral. He half smiled back. It always is for ghosts. The MPs outside parted as she walked out, head high, stepped steady, water dripping from her boots onto the polished floor. The base's hum seemed to quiet around her, like the walls themselves recognized the insignia she carried. Behind her, the lieutenant whispered, Sir, who was she really? The admiral didn't answer right away. He watched her vanish into the corridor's shadows before saying, the kind of soldier you don't pretend to be, because pretending gets you killed. And with that, he followed her out, the storm echoing against the base like a warning from the past. The corridor beyond the interrogation room stretched long and dim, lined with flickering overhead lights. The storm still howled outside, shaking the metal walls of the base, but inside, silence followed her footsteps. The woman, Agent Vega, moved with the quiet precision of someone used to walking through danger unnoticed. Admiral Wexler followed a few paces behind, his cane tapping lightly on the floor. The other officers gave them a wide berth, some saluting, most pretending not to stare. Rumors already moved faster than the rain. They reached a restricted elevator at the far end. Wexler swiped his card and placed his thumb on the scanner. Sublevel 9, he said. The elevator beeped, then descended soundlessly into the classified depths of the facility. Vega leaned against the wall, arms crossed, eyes fixed on the dim reflection in the metal door. I thought Sublevel 9 was decommissioned, she murmured. It was, Wexler replied. Until 5 minutes ago. The doors opened with a soft hiss. The air down there was colder, cleaner, and full of the hum of servers and encrypted machinery. Rows of consoles blinked in the darkness, operated by a handful of silent analysts. At the far end stood a massive digital display, the world map, dotted with red zones pulsing like open wounds. Wexler led her toward a secure room marked Command Node Bravo. Inside, he said. She stepped in. The room sealed behind them, lights shifting from white to blue, active encryption mode. Wexler gestured toward the table where a holographic file hovered midair. It bore the symbol of a serpent coiled around a trident. Operation Serpent. Classified. Level Omega. Vega's jaw tightened. That file was destroyed. I thought so too, Wexler said. Until 2 days ago, when someone accessed it using your old clearance codes. She frowned. Not possible. Those codes were burned with my unit. Apparently, someone disagrees. Wexler tapped the console, and the hologram expanded to reveal satellite imagery, a barren desert, with a convoy moving under cover of night. At its center was a transport marked with an insignia she recognized instantly, a red circle enclosing a silver 7-point star. Her tattoos mirror. Where did this come from? She asked. Western Yemen, Wexler said. 3 hours ago. Our intel says it's carrying an experimental AI weapons interface, one that was never meant to leave US control. Vega's pulse quickened. Project Helix. He nodded. You were the only one who had first-hand access to its field tests. And the only one who survived them, she said quietly. For a moment, both stood in silence, the hum of data screens surrounding them like ghosts whispering secrets. Wexler broke the quiet. I've already reactivated your clearance. You'll have command authority for the operation. You pick your team. My team's gone, sir, Vega said. You know that. Wexler's expression softened, but only slightly. Not all of them. He tapped another control, and a roster appeared on the display, 3 names highlighted in blue, Drake, Orion, and Vale. Vega stared. They're alive. Alive, yes. Retired, mostly. One in Alaska, one under civilian cover in Istanbul, one in a black site we don't officially own. She allowed herself a small breath of disbelief. I buried them, Admiral. Literally. He nodded. We made sure of that. Ghost Protocol, Vega, you were never meant to come back, none of you were. But now, we don't have a choice. The words hung in the air like a resurrection order. Vega walked toward the map. And what's the objective? Intercept and retrieve the Helix core before it crosses the border. It's currently under protection from a rogue PMC, the Black Hounds. Led by a man named Colburn. She froze. Elias Colburn, you know him. She turned slowly. He was my handler before the program went dark. If he's leading the Black Hounds now, her eyes narrowed. Then Helix isn't stolen. It's being delivered. Wexler's jaw tightened. To who? I don't know, Vega said. But Helix was designed to integrate with human decision systems. If it's fully activated, it won't need orders. It'll choose its own wars. Wexler looked grave. Then we stop it before that happens. I'll handle the clearance. You handle the field. Vega looked at him, measuring. You're pulling a lot of strings for someone who was ordered to erase me. Maybe I made a mistake back then, Wexler said quietly. Maybe I thought keeping you dead would keep you safe. Vega's gaze softened, barely. You know better than to use words like safe, Admiral. He gave a faint smile. Fair. The room lights flickered. A low alarm tone sounded across the sublevel, a single, sharp beep followed by static. One of the analysts outside shouted through the intercom, Sir, we've got an incoming encrypted burst, triple red encryption. It's marked Phantom Division Alpha. Wexler and Vega exchanged a look. Put it through, Wexler ordered. A flicker appeared in the air, coalescing into a distorted hollow feed. A face emerged, older, scarred, but unmistakable. Drake. Vega, he said through static. If you're hearing this, you're late. Colburn's already moving. Helix goes dark in 12 hours. You're going to need the old coordinates, the ones we swore we'd never use again. The feed glitched, then cut to black. Vega's heartbeat quickened. She knew exactly which coordinates he meant. The Ghost Grid, a network of untraceable safehouses and caches only Phantom operatives could access. But using them meant crossing into territory so deep in Black Ops, not even Wexler could protect her. The Admiral seemed to read her thoughts. You're not obligated to take this, Vega. After everything, she shook her head. Obligated, sir. This is the only thing I was ever built for. He gave a slow nod. Then you're cleared to move. Transport lifts off in 30 minutes. Use whatever you need. And Vega, she paused at the door. He continued, voice low. This time, don't come back a ghost. She gave a faint smirk. No promises, Admiral. As she walked out, the elevator doors sealed behind her. The base lights dimmed to red alert mode, operations already shifting to hidden channels. Down the hall, engineers prepped gear she hadn't touched in years, suppressed rifles, encrypted comm units, stealth packs stamped with the Phantom insignia. Outside, lightning split the clouds. The storm had worsened, wind tearing across the tarmac. Vega stepped onto the loading ramp of the transport plane, her silhouette framed in the glow of the hangar lights. Rain lashed against her jacket, and for the first time in 3 years, she felt the familiar weight of purpose settle over her shoulders. Behind her, a voice on comm crackled to life, command to Agent Vega. Confirming operation code, she secured her harness and replied evenly, Operation Serpent, Ghost Protocol reactivated. Engines roared, the aircraft rose into the storm, vanishing into darkness, and with it, the world's last surviving Phantom returned to the shadows.